I found one of the most, to me, historic and amazing letters that I've ever found in all my many years of collecting. Now, when I say collecting, my brother and I, Philip Stone, have for many years, since we were very, very young in age. He would have been probably 8 to 12, and I would have been somewhere between 14 to 16. Actually, it was before then, it was in Arlington, Virginia, which would make me about age 10, 11, and 12. We would collect old newspapers, old pictures, old letters. We collected stamps. I have a pretty massive old stamp collection for many years of collecting stamps. Now, my wife says, "You're just a hoarder." No, I do like collecting old things, and I have hundreds of old documents. I have many old books, some that go back to the 1600s. I have a book of art by a Frenchman named Lafage, and I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly, from the 1600s. It's massive. It takes 2 hands to hold up. And I purchased it for just about $400, and I don't even know what it's worth. It has 50 pictures in it, etched pictures. Well, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I was recently in a store some time back and bought just a box of old documents. And in the documents, I was shocked to find a Kennedy letter. This is a Kennedy letter. And I'm not going to show it to you just yet. I'm going to explain it to you first. That the reason that this letter is historic, it has up at the top, United States Senate, Washington, D.C. It has the name of the man up at the top. I'll tell you the name of the man in a moment, and I'll give you the date in a moment. Let me read to you the letter. Instead of showing it to you, let me read it, because it's a little bit more difficult sometimes on a small phone. The Brooklyn Chapter, Association of Civilian Technicians in Bay Ridge Station, Brooklyn, New York. Dear friends, thank you for advising me of your support for legislation granting federal employee status to technicians employed by the National Guard. As you may know, I am not a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, before which this legislation is pending. However, I have been informed by the committee that staff work has been underway for some time. Prerequisite to committee some months ago with information requested from the governor of each state. To date, not all of the governors have supplied the requested information. The committee advises the matter will be reconsidered at the earliest practicable time. I know you are aware of my support of this legislation in the past. I want to assure you that it will have my continued support when it comes to the Senate floor. So this man was a U.S. Senator. He was running for president, and the date on the letter, ready, is May 18th, 1968, Robert F. Kennedy, New York. Now, a lot of times when senators would write letters, their secretary would sign for them, their signature. But I checked this signature by what we call authentic Robert Kennedy signatures, and it has been confirmed to be an authentic signature of Robert Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, you see it there. And you can even see the smear mark on the ink. There's a little bit of a smear mark where it was smeared probably by his hand. But let me tell you why this is so historic, because I wrote this down on the back, okay? Robert F. Kennedy, as you know, his son was one of the individuals that was running for president, and RFK Jr. Robert Kennedy was assassinated in California at the primary, and I want to make sure I've got the date. It was June the 5th in 1968. This letter was written on May 28th, 1968. So what that means is, and I think I wrote that on the back here as well, 8 days, this letter was written 8 days before the death and assassination of Robert Kennedy. I looked, I thought about selling it, but I looked at some of the prices, and for a letter that's dated this date, that close, and one of the, maybe not the final letter, of course, maybe one of the final letters, would be worth quite a bit from a historical perspective. But when I came across this, there was also a full-length picture of him that was with this particular item, and I was stunned. And I don't know where it came from other than it was in a box of material. And my wife and I looked at this the other day, and I said, do you realize that this was written or typed out or signed by the date about 8 days before Robert Kennedy was assassinated. This is a very, very historical document. And one of the other things that I found in that same store, in that same box of stuff, was, and it must have been someone that collected documents, is there was an 8-page handwritten letter from a man who mentions Abraham Lincoln wanting to give this young man approval, I guess, to go to one of the military schools. And it mentions Grant, and it mentions the vice president, and it mentions Abraham Lincoln. And it is a handwritten 8-page letter. And so I have, that's probably, this letter and those letters, the 8-page one, are probably two of the most significant historical documents that I have. But it's amazing at what you can find sometimes when you go into these stores. And of course, my library has many, many old books. And I get that from my dad. My dad was a book collector, a connoisseur of old books. And I definitely get that from Dad. The writing comes probably from my grandfather, who had Musical Echoes magazine, who wrote over 1,000, or let me say it this way. He had a copyright to over 1,000 songs. But I thought you would enjoy seeing this. It is a piece of American history, without any doubt whatsoever. And so I thought you would enjoy that and the little story behind it. So if you like this kind of stuff, where we're showing you things and interesting things, give it a thumbs up right now. Just click that. They used to say, hit that thumbs up button. And thank you for your time. We have many more great YouTube videos coming every week. And I want you to subscribe to our channel if you have not done so, and continue watching for something special.
See and hear 100% proof that ancient Bible prophecies are now being fulfilled as we are racing toward the return of Christ. In Perry Stone's new DVD series, 30 Prophecies Fulfilled Since 1967, he documents amazing prophecies, some penned in Scripture thousands of years ago, that have been fulfilled beginning in 1948 to today. All are now unfolding in the nation of Israel. Perry explains how Israel is God's last day prophetic time clock, pointing to the midnight hour of the Messiah's return. During more than 40 trips to Israel, Perry has been boots on the ground, capturing firsthand when, where, and how these 30 prophecies have been and are presently being fulfilled, from the Golan Heights in the north to ancient Judea and Samaria, then south to the Judean wilderness region, including the Dead Sea. He reveals prophecies about modern weapons and wars in Israel. He includes Israeli cities and events on ancient mountains, leading you through a journey linked with predictions about the walls and gates of Old Jerusalem. Perry includes new and undeniable evidence that he has never publicly shared before. On this 2-DVD set, 3-hour teaching, Perry includes photographic confirmation of prophetic activity throughout Israel, verifying these end-time prophecies are being fulfilled. He affirms his evidence using biblical word studies, historical proof, providing significant visual lists during his teaching. These 3 hours are a full prophetic documentary that proves the Bible is true. 1948 was the introduction of end-time events, and 1967 was the early beginning of the end. As Rabbi Goren stated in 1967, "We have entered the seasons of the Messiah." This DVD series is a must-watch for all prophecy lovers. This teaching is also a fabulous soul-winning resource to share with prophetic skeptics, unbelievers, unsaved, and lukewarm family members and friends. The 3-hour 2-DVD series is yours for a donation of $30 or more. In addition, Perry is adding a surprise bonus audio CD with your order. Order by calling toll-free 1-888-21-BREAD. That's 1-888-212-7323, or online at perrystone.org. A video on-demand option is also available on our website. To order by mail, send a check with offer number PF-145 to Perry Stone, P.O. Box 3595, Cleveland, Tennessee 37320. No excerpts of this series will be aired on television or social media, and it is only available through Perry's ministry. We look forward to hearing from you today.
If you enjoyed this YouTube content, there's an important website you should know about: perrystone.org. Perrystone.org is an essential resource for the latest books, audiovisual presentations, and digital products from Perry Stone Ministries, resources that cover the same kinds of topics discussed in the program you just watched. Stop in and see all that's available at perrystone.org.